our mission, right? You can come, you can speak your mind, and we'll speak it back. I'm pretty sure you know that. 800-920-1580, that's our phone number. That's your invitation. That's your red, black, and green carpet, your highway to the airwaves. Could also tap in on social media at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. And I am at DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA. Please like, follow, and subscribe. My favorite is IG, but I'm on all those platforms, including YouTube. But, I say right now, follow each other while you still can. Follow each other because your friend might mess around and, you know, move to the Swiss Alps, the Himalayas. Like, you don't know what people are going to do now. So it's, at least if you have their socials, you can DM and see what's up. Anyway, this is what we do typically on a Talking Point Tuesday. Hour 1, we look local. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. And today we are right on point with that. With our first hour, the Left Coast Hour, it'll be me, you, and the microphone, telephone, your Google fingers, all that. In hour 2, we're going to be doing our classic Talking Point Tuesday thing. We'll be hearing from Black Republican Craig DeLuz for the first half. In the second half, you're invited to weigh in on what you heard him say or what you heard me say on that Talking Point Tuesday. I expect him to be doing a fair amount of gloating as a Black Republican, so we'll live through that together. And then hour 3, we have Dr. Stephanie Canizales, who's actually an expert on migration, immigration, and the like, should be quite applicable to what we see unfolding before our very eyes. So much going on. I'm glad we have each other. Yes, indeed. I'm very glad we have each other. And we even have some special ticket giveaways for you today. So there's a lot going on around here, as usual. And you are part of it. Thankful and glad. Okay, so I keep talking about this elusive good news, and then I keep going down other pathways, which is normal when you're in pressed times. However, let it be noted that we had the opportunity to interview all of the folks that were running for LA County Municipal Court Judge. Okay? And we elected 4 LA County Municipal Court judges in our county, LA County, this time. And we did a great job. I think that, excuse me, I think that when we pay attention, we do a lot better, right? We do a lot better with our results in elections. So we have elected all the judges. That, to me, is a huge victory. I'm going to double check my results because, this counting in California goes on, but at least we get to count. We get to count all our votes. Yes, I'm still on that, and I really am. I really am in a space where I'm not going to be. I don't want to be like Trump, but I do want to see evidence that this highly unusual result is correct, right? Highly unusual result, being a Republican wins the popular vote for the first time in 50 years, being unusual states and counties that we don't expect, going red. Okay, so I need to know, is my country really that racist and misogynist, or did Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and the tech bros cabal of Billionaire Boys Club, did they hack the election? Need to know. Going to need to know that. Okay, so back to my good news. Yes, indeed. The count continues, and it appears to be quite clear that all of our judges won. All of our judges, meaning we in LA County elected all Black judges. I don't know. I haven't done the research, but I'm pretty sure that's the first. For Superior Court seat number 137, Tracy Blunt ahead there. And guys know I recommended her. Georgia Huerta for 135, leading handily there. Sharon Ransom for seat number 97, with a substantial lead there. And Erica Wiley for seat number 48. Wiley, of course, not just a black woman, but also a public defender. And George A. Turner with a solid lead there, another public defender. This is what we call let's celebrate our victories, right? Congratulations going out to the defenders of justice. They're slate one. Local organizing more important than ever right now in this new Confederate authoritarian era. I think Dr. Gerald Horne put it really well. We have to organize locally and make sure we elect judges and mayors and council members and local officials who will protect our rights and our civic environment. So this is a great example of that. It's also something where we have been paying more attention, maybe because of some terrible decisions we've seen made by judges. Maybe it's the U.S. Supreme Court, or Extreme Court, as my dad used to call it, making terrible decisions. Whatever it is, in L.A. County, we've been paying attention. And groups like La Defensa and the Defenders of Justice Slate have made a difference in educating voters, making it easier to figure out who's who and who we should vote for. This is definitely, to me, in the category of a win. We have elected 5 black judges. Every single judge elected November 2024 to the LA County Superior Court is African American. 2 are public defenders, and all are people that I voted for. Of course, I like that outcome too. But this is huge, and I hope it's, I want to give some love to Attorney Carrie Harper. She was doing judge education on another station, one that I used to be affiliated with for many years. And she's actually the person who really helped me when I first started covering these races many years back and really spending time on it. That is amazing. That's amazing. That's as we see the impact of judges and how they absolutely make a difference in our daily lives. Yeah, that's a big deal. Congrats to all of the judges, it says MJ Scott, and thank you, Dominique and KBLA, for all the interviews of the candidates, which helped me and us to vote smarter. Well, you're welcome. I feel like that's our job, but it's so rewarding, especially in the midst of the poo-poo show that we are seeing on the national scene, which, by the way, is just getting started as we see the FCC, the people that control the radio, among other things. We see calls for the Biden administration not to make any moves. You know what? Middle finger to you on that. Middle finger to you on that. People who appointed Amy Coney Barrett, stealing one of Biden's choices after stealing one of Obama's choices in Merrick Garland, right, who should be sitting on the Supreme Court. That would have helped. Obama could have pushed a little harder, but I don't know that it would have made a difference with the Republican control of the Senate. But no, you don't get to say to Biden, don't do anything because we won. Because y'all crammed through Amy Coney Barrett and a whole bunch of other stuff, executed 12 people, 5 of them black, on the way out the door. That's what y'all did. And you want us to stand by and do nothing for a couple months until Trump takes office? I don't think so. So I digress. Back to our good news. 5 black judges. Put that in your phone and tweet it. And one of the reasons I say that is because I feel like it is important to celebrate our victories, and we've had some big ones. And a lot of us are feeling deflated. Some of you guys are walking around doing victory laps, and I wish you well. I hope whatever good things you imagined coming out of this administration do occur. lots of folks we see, mainstream media making much of the fact that people are Googling, how do I change my vote, which is something you can't do. You voted how you voted. It is what it is. You can vote again in 2028 if there's still in America, which I believe there will be. I don't know that we'll be able to recognize it, but you can vote again. You can't change your vote. But if you look at places like LA County, we are doing exactly what Dr. Gerald Horne talked about. We're moving the needle locally, right, in getting rid of Kevin De Leon and replacing him with Isabel Jurado, who is a young, progressive renters' rights attorney right now on the city council, increasing our progressive bloc on the city council, with the election of judges, 2 public defenders, 5 African Americans. One actually worked as a public defender. So really, really, really good stuff. And it's a reminder of why, even when things are rather Nazi-ish on the national platform, it's really important for us to still show up and vote. That's what we keep talking about, down ballot. Judges are the ultimate down ballot because a lot of people didn't get that far and have no idea who to vote for. But we apparently did. And I love us for that. We're so dope. Okay, 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. We are unapologetically progressive, yet and still. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
While celebrating victory. The judges are in the building. 5 new Superior Court judges, all black. Blackety black. It looks like Measure G is winning. That is something I voted against. Not because I did not want to expand the LA County Board of Supervisors, but I think making the CEO of the county an elected position is a mistake. But apparently it's a mistake we're making, thanks to Supervisor Lindsay Horvath and Supervisor Janice Hahn. Please let me be wrong about this, but I don't think I am, nor do I think Supervisor Holly Mitchell is. Why is that? Because now the person it's like adding another supervisor that's not elected that, has a lot of control over many different aspects of the county, and it's going to slow things down. It's already slow as hell in the county, but we apparently are going to have an elected chief executive. I'm not mad at an independent ethics commission. I am not mad at more supervisors. I am mad at an elected CEO. I think it's going to turn the LA County into even slower bureaucratic behemoth than it already is. Not to mention, it's a whole bunch of money to create 4 more supervisorial districts at a time when we are reportedly kind of low on funds. So very interesting. Again, I hope Hahn and Horvath are right, but I don't think so. So we shall see. It looks like they squeaked by with a little more than the 50% plus 1 vote that you need. Good news in the 27th Congressional District, pivoting back to our good news. Republican Representative Mike Garcia has conceded. Remember, this was Sheriff Villanueva's BFF. They were rolling around in a helicopter playing cowboys and cowboys. And apparently the voters of the 27th District said, nah, we good. We pass on this. So in the middle of the red wedding, we have elected, y'all have, thank you, 27th District, George Whitesides. This is a big win for the Dems. He's the former chief of something called Virgin Galactic. He was a former NASA chief of staff, first time ever running for public office. And this is northern LA County. So that's one good victory. Again, local officials, right? And local organizing and expanding our international alliances. These are the things that Dr. Gerald Horn said. When I said, what's the plan if Trump wins? Local organizing, win your city council, win your local congressional seats, win your state seats in offices. And that is why I'm celebrating us having done just that. Let's go to Fred calling us from Crenshaw. Good morning, Jumbo Ola. What's up?
It sounds great. I think a great deal of you. You really break it down on the radio. Are you interested in running for a seat on the Board of Supervisors? Because I'll back you up.
No, thank you.
You got my vote.
So you want me to go there right when it's become a paralyzed, hot, steaming mess?
Oh, well, okay. I just a thought. But, yeah, all right. I do have to throw that. But, on our election, I'm glad that what's her name, Lake, she lost her seat, and Mike Garcia lost his seat. But on the election, it seemed to me that Joe Biden should have said real early that he was going to step down. I applaud Kamala Harris trying to put a campaign together in 107 days. That is real short. And then originally, Kamala Harris had 4 of the battleground states to Trump's 3. Now, all of a sudden, it's a big turnaround, and Trump picks all of them up. Now, he claims that he's going to unify us. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But what I think the Democrats might have to do, go back to the drawing board and get ready for 2028. And you know who I would like to see run for president in 2028 would be Whitmer out of Michigan. That would be good because it's
so we can lose again because we live in a misogynist country that's not ready to have a woman at that helm. Like, I get people pointing fingers at Joe Biden. I get people pointing fingers at Obama and the fact that we didn't, the Democratic Party didn't address working class issues, or like Torrey says, we should have put Bernie in, and we've been talking about whether Bernie could have beat Trump in 2016 since 2016, and I get all of that, and I think all of those are some good points. However, if there any analysis to me that skips over the fact that we live in a racist, misogynist, white supremacist country is disingenuous. I mean, I like Whitmer too, but I'm sorry. We need a win. Stop the bleeding before it's too late. That sounds terrible. I'm caving to misogyny right now, but America, the United States of America, and let me put an asterisk by that. I need to see proof that there was no cheating in this election by the tech bros. By the biggest bunch of liars and cheaters ever assembled, the Billionaire Boys Club, the new Confederate authoritarian extremists. If this is an honest result, I will accept it, but I need to know that. And there's a lot of fishy business, so I'm going to need some confirmation.
So is there going to be an investigation done on this election? Then Biden and Harris said they will do the transfer of power, but 4 years ago it was reversed. So Trump said the election was stolen and dead people are voting. That's all stupid. Well, if what he said was true, oh come on now, why didn't the Supreme Court take it? None of the justices would get behind him, and he appointed the last 3 justices of Supreme Court. So you got to have a Democratic president, then you get Democratic justice. So I know you got a lot of calls lined up. Let me ask you this real quick: what gentleman would you see like to take the rings in 2028 as president of the United States? You got some people lined up?
Well, that's something I'm going to have to think about. I know that's one of the things that our governor here in California is aiming for. I know he polls very well, but let's see who else is lining up. Let's see. I think it's early to talk about that. I think we've got to get through
that's true.
The next 4 years, the next 3 months. And it's, and it's not really just about hold your breath for 4 years, because he's already got 3 Supreme Court picks, as you point out. If, some of the older justices like Clarence Thomas are smart and they do what Ruth Bader Ginsburg refused to do, then Trump could appoint younger justices, and they could be running the Supreme Court for decades, literally decades, right? So that's really what we're looking at right now. It's not just 4 years. If he does go ahead and dismantle the Department of Education, which he's repeating that you don't just fix that in a minute. Like the destructive things that he's talking about doing, ending the Affordable Care Act, literally putting millions of people into a situation where they don't have health insurance. You can't wave a magic wand and fix those things overnight. So we're not just talking about 4 years. We're talking about potentially decades of damage. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, Fred, for calling. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A man, Isaac Betancourt, was arrested for trespassing after being found living in a crawl space of an elderly woman's home in East Los Angeles. Police used tear gas to flush him out after failed negotiations. Over a dozen monkeys are still on the loose after escaping from a research facility last week in South Carolina. Officials with Alpha Genesis say 43 monkeys originally escaped and 30 have since been recaptured. Sports analyst Michael Strahan didn't put his hand over his heart during the national anthem at Sunday's NFL on Fox broadcast, which upset some viewers, especially for a Veterans Day program. Strahan, who grew up in a military family, posted a tribute to veterans on social media, praising their selfless service. And the Dolphins cruised to a 23-15 win over the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football at SoFi Stadium. Miami moved to 3-6 with the win. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams couldn't find their offense Monday night against Miami. They lost 23-15 at SoFi. No touchdowns for the Rams. All of their points came on field goals. The Rams dropped to 4-5. They're at New England on Sunday. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams is having a rough time with the Chicago Bears, who have lost 3 in a row. Over the last 3 games, Williams has had 23 straight possessions without a touchdown. The Bears haven't scored a touchdown since October 27th at Washington. The NFL's 6 black head coaches have some work to do. After Week 10, they have a combined record of 28-30. 3 of the 6 black head coaches are under 500. New England's Gerard Mayo, Tampa Bay's Todd Bowles, and the Raiders' Antonio Pierce. The Clippers lost at Oklahoma City last night. OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropped a career-high 45. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you coughing a lot, especially at night? Are you often short of breath? Are you using your rescue inhaler often? These could be signs that your asthma is not under control. To keep your asthma in check and help prevent an asthma attack, ask your healthcare provider for an asthma action plan. This is a personalized plan you create with your doctor that shows you what to do and what medicines to help control your asthma and to use when you're having a hard time breathing or when you're having an asthma attack. Please don't wait until you're having an asthma attack. Do something about it now. Schedule a visit with your healthcare provider today to make that action plan and take control of your asthma. For more tips and resources on the management of asthma, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And you're invited in. Look, lots and lots of space. You're always invited in, you know that, but we're leaving more space right now because folks got stuff to say. We need to vent. We need to connect, network, get inspired, get strong. It's time to get strong. Look, yeah, self-care and, everyone's talking about grieving and going through what you got. That's fine. Do what you got to do to be whole and be well. I'm here for it. And we're here for you. And that's why you can call and talk and talk 800-920-1580. But I'm saying at a certain point, whenever you're ready, time to drink the water, hit the gym, go for the hike in the mountains, do some meditation, and get strong, people. We got work to do. We got work to do. We got our ancestors at our back. It reminds me of dark periods in our history, like the McCarthy era, when they were literally throwing people in jail or blacklisting them because they were suspected of being communist. It's that kind of time. I think of the Dred Scott decision. It's that kind of time. We've been through terrible times in our history before, and we have prevailed. We rise, still we rise. And look, our younger generation, they are ready. In my humble opinion, Gen Z and Gen A are not here for the BS. So this will be interesting. Even though we have seen with the Trump reported victory that there's a lot of little Dylan Roofs running around here, out here. That seems to be what I've observed at places like Beverly Hills High. And I'm not just saying that because I had to pass a new rule to stop the young European American children from taunting everyone else, specifically boys. I'm also saying that because of my own experience as a mom putting a black child through the elite white exclusive school systems of LA County. It is a thing. But still we rise, and so this is the time to get strong. This is the time to do it, right? Perhaps I read too much, but, there are Black and Native American indigenous political prisoners still in prison from the 60s. So if you got something to say it now. Sada Shakur is still on the run. Like the fact that when fascism and authoritarianism comes to our country, it's just an election, is a very optimistic and naive viewpoint, in my opinion. As a child who grew up, with family members who were victims of COINTELPRO. Oh, no. Okay, well, I was about to go to somebody, but I guess we accidentally hung up on them. So let's go to Dwight, straight out of Compton. And please call me back, persons that were on hold. Hi, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique, Jumbo, Ola, Hotep, to all the KBLA listeners and family and hardworking postal workers. Dominique, thank you so much for helping us with our ballots. That's how some of those judges got elected, from the information that you helped us with. Thank you so much. And like you said, we got to focus on the things we want sometimes, and not just the things we are against. And as long as we do that, we're gonna be all right, Dominique. And something from watching television last night, they said really the 2-year election, politicians gonna spend that last 6 months, campaigning. So in 18 months, they only gonna have 18 months to do whatever harm they're gonna do. And family, in 2 years, we get to elect more House members, elect more Senate members, and we're going to do to the Republicans what they do to the Democrats. When we have a Democratic president, we're going to do everything we can to slow them down, to fight for the people, and continue the struggle. Because, Dominique, like you said, sometimes instead of focusing what we don't have, we got to be thankful. Like that William Devon said, be thankful for what we got. And and some of the races are still going on. And I just want to thank KBLA for being the voice for our community. Thank you, KBLA, and thank everyone there at KBLA.
Thank you, Dwight. Appreciate you. You've been one of our solid day ones around here, and it does not go unnoticed. All right, Dwight, be strong, be safe. And got a lot of good points. I think they can do quite a bit of damage in 2 years. But I'm, banking on incompetence and infighting to save us a certain amount of the fact that Trump is refusing to sign, is refusing to sign the ethics pledge that presidents have to sign for the transition. Apparently, I haven't researched this myself, but according to Rachel Maddow, this means he can accept as much money as he wants for his transition without naming the donors, and he can use that money for whatever he wants. Typically, they name the donors, and they the money goes to the inauguration balls and all that stuff, and they get $7 million from the government to help with their transition. But this dude's surrounded by a bunch of billionaires, so so he's got his hand out, and he's probably taken all the money he can while he can. But see, that slows down the transition because they don't have access to a lot of information and help that they normally would get, because he refuses to sign the ethics pledge because he's a greedy, I was going to say little man, but he's kind of large, even with the Ozempic. Yeah, so so his greed and their infighting and his, trying to be emperor, hopefully will slow down some of the things he wants to do. We shall see.
Yeah, and it's always in God's hands. So
absolutely,
they're not bigger than God. So we got, like they say, we got God on our side down there.
Absolutely, we got a whole bunch of people that want to speak, Dwight. So call me back another day. I know you will, and I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna go to Shayon calling us from Long Beach. Hi, Shayon.
Hi. Good morning. I heard you mention the Dred Scott case, and people, I know a lot of us ain't gonna read it because it's probably about 400 pages, somewhere in there. But I've read it. It's a Bible text, basically, and with us the more. So it's very important, if people get a chance to read and study the Dred Scott case, because that case, what Judge Taney said is that Negro or Negroes are not citizens and never was meant to be citizens within the meaning of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, that Negroes are not persons but property. And that prompted Congress to go and put together the 14th Amendment. But one important line in that decision, he said, the words in the Constitution have the exact same meaning and intent as they did is when the framers put them in there. So to understand that reasoning, you have to read the Federalist Papers. And in Federalist Paper number 54 with James Madison, they specifically say the word persons in reference to Negroes means property. So all of that stuff is legal, and we have to understand that. because when you look at the 14th Amendment that they put together, it says all persons. But that 14th Amendment was put together for subsequently to make Negroes citizens, but it says persons. And then
okay, so you're really getting into the weeds here, Shayon. What's your bottom line?
Well,
What's your main point?
I know we don't want to hear and get in the weeds, but
no, it's not that we don't want to hear it. It's just that I want to make sure people understand what you're saying, and we don't have infinite time. So I want to make sure you're clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me get to the bottom line. The strict constructionalists that come out of the Federalist Society that's on the Supreme Court, that they always tell you about, the Republicans, they are looking at what the framers' meaning and intent was. You can only understand that by looking at the Federalist Papers. And Federalist Paper number 54, they specifically say the word persons in reference to Negro means property. So when they put that word person in the 14th Amendment, wink, wink, it means property. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand.
Okay, got you.
And that's what the lawyers will never explain to y'all. But I told you.
Okay, got it.
All right.
I mean, if you're talking about the original intent of the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, what we were founded on, what they claim to be going back to on the Supreme Court, extreme court, except when they don't, except when they decide to go ham and say, oh, the president is immune. Yeah, I think that should inform our understanding of Trump's right out front talking about rescinding birthright citizenship. You all think that only applies to immigrants or undocumented persons, and I say FAFO. Because if you don't think black folks, whatever name you go by, are going to be targeted under that, I believe you're not paying attention.
Well, I'm just what I'm saying is Negro is Spanish for black.
Got it. All right, Shayon, appreciate it. Well, I know we're going to continue this conversation. Shayon called 800-920-1580. You can do the same. We are unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Join the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center for a great day in Black Hollywood. Friday, November 15th, 7 p.m. at the Regal LA Live Theaters, downtown Los Angeles. This is the opening night celebration of the 30th annual S.E. Manley African American Short Film Showcase, honoring Deborah Pratt, Lyndon Barrios, Janine Sherman Barrios, Art Sims, Dee Stevens, Gina Lemieux Davis, and Dr. Gloria Zervine. The weekend continues on Saturday, November 16th and November 17th with over 60 short films and industry panels on careers in Hollywood and directors on directing. Get your tickets today at bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. Again, 323-957-4656. See you there. That's bherc.org.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Yeah, it's in the positioning statement. We're unapologetically progressive, unlike our thousands of right-wing counterparts, which is what the majority of talk radio is across the country. We do allow differing viewpoints, unlike them, but we are going to come from the foundation of being unapologetically black, unapologetically progressive. You can agree to disagree, but don't be mad. This is what we do. And you're welcome in. But if you want all white, all day, all night, there's lots of options. There are only 5, count them 5, black-owned talk radio stations in the entire country. Only one of them is located west of the Mississippi, and that would be us. And trust and believe we are ready to deal with what is ahead. I said, drink your water, meditate, get strong. Someone in the chat, I don't see their name, saying, well, this is too, you should have done that a while ago. A lot of us have been doing it our whole lives. But when somebody, hits you with something that feels terrible, unfair, terrifying, probably unjust, you may need to grieve for a while. Readjust, counterpunch. That's what I'm talking about. Come up for air. You got this. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying we've been slouches our whole lives and now we're suddenly going to get it together because of an existential threat of authoritarianism. Jeanette from Englewood, you have the mic. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for taking my call. Let us not forget that Trump never got over it. For 4 years, we kept hearing it. So that's my statement there. So I also want to say that you and I are thinking along the same lines. So I won't be able to call in during the 7 o'clock hour, but I do have 5 short questions to your guest. If he or any other Republican in the chat or those that listen could please answer these. And I am serious about this. I know sometimes I act like I'm not, but I am. But first question, would it be all right for President Joe Biden to sue Fox for the way that they talked about him? Trump wants to sue CBS. And would it be okay for President Biden to walk the illegal or have the illegal immigrants to be walked back to the border? That way the American people will not have to pay for their deportation. And
walk in from Chicago.
Well, they walked. They're so mean to, in my opinion, what they're about to do. But number 3, President Joe Biden has read part of, and this is my if he had read part of Project 2025, and he says, I like the part of taking away Social Security, and he did it, would that be okay? And would it be okay for Vice President Kamala Harris to invoke the 25th Amendment because of the things that Joe Biden did in reference to these last questions, and let her become the president? And then when she's the president, would it be okay for her to say, I'm president forever, you Christians, you would never have to vote again, everything is great? Those are my real questions.
All right.
Thank you, Dominique.
I don't know that we'll get to all of those, Jeanette, but certainly we'll have many Republicans over many days, and they, I'm sure, will come up. It's interesting to me that all the Republicans have gone silent on their cheating claims that were being teed up just a short while ago. Suddenly the election is fair and free, nothing to see here. The arrogance especially among the folks that have the capacity and the motive to cheat, i.e. Elon Musk, who got $50 million richer since last Tuesday. And now, who's the puppet master? You know, Trump has barely a billion, if he has that. And he, you know, and his new BFF, Elon Musk, is the richest man in the world. Who pulls the strings in that relationship? Who's the puppet and who's the puppet master? And then, you know, when you look at the fact that you've got this cabal of white South African men, at least 3 of the billionaires in Trump's immediate circle are white South African men born in the apartheid South Africa mentality, whose forefathers got their fortune literally off the blood and sweat of black people and were raised. And even still, look, I was in South Africa in 2023. And that mentality prevails. I don't, it's beautiful. I love South Africa. The people were nice, but I couldn't live there because the white people there have apartheid mentality still. It's very clear. Well, 3 of those guys are around Trump. And remember, his dad has white supremacist roots. And they are talking about ending birthright citizenship. And you don't think that targets you? Okay. Well, I hope you're right. I hope your optimism and pettiness is right. They're in the chat talking about how Melania is refusing to meet with Jill Biden, which is sort of a ceremonial, normal part of the transition of power, because of the raid on Mar-a-Lago, which wasn't really a raid. It was the Department of Justice asking Trump to give them back the classified documents and finally going and getting them themselves. Not a raid when they tell you about it and you have an opportunity to leave or stay. That's not really a raid, but whatever. She's mad about it. Not understanding that actually in a normal Democratic administration, the Department of Justice is not under the direct command of the president. So Biden didn't go say raid Mar-a-Lago. And it's understandable she thinks that because that's how Trump believes the Justice Department is meant to act. But also, you know, you don't think, I mean, Michelle Obama could have done the same thing with you, Miss Melania. After all, your husband relentlessly disparaged him and questioned his citizenship, even after he had repeatedly showed his birth certificate. As this so-called first lady leader of the so-called free world, you're supposed to be bigger than that. But whatever, we don't expect any different, and I really don't care because it's not important. It's just indicative. Not important, just indicative. Oh, by the way, we were talking about the 5 judges that we elected in LA County. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black judges. 2 public defenders and 1 person who spent some time as a public defender. 1 in Sharon Ransom, somebody who really resonated with me and others. She's a lifetime South Los Angeles resident, born and raised here, defeated cancer, prevailed as a single mother, went to night school to get her law degree. I mean, these are qualified people that are a departure from the norm, and I'm living for what we want. Yeah, of course I'm going to point out the ironies. And you know, whatever. We'll focus on what we want. We'll pay attention to what we don't want so we don't get blindsided. And I want to see some statistical modeling, some recounts in counties or precincts that seem to be It's statistically impossible to go red. I would like to see some receipts. That's all. Peaceful transfer of power, all good. If in fact the new Confederate authoritarian white supremacist red wedding wave is the reality, I accept that. I'm not even fully surprised by it, but I'm going to need some receipts. In the meantime, we'll keep electing our judges and city council members and bolstering our nonprofits, and we'll keep moving in the positive, moving for progress. Talking Point Tuesday next hour, Black Republican Craig DeLuz joins me, and I'm sure he's got a lot to say and crow about, so that's what we're doing next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. A man, Isaac Betancourt, was arrested for trespassing after being found living in a crawl space of an elderly woman's home in East Los Angeles. Police used tear gas to flush him out after